whoever wants to kick off.
Robert, thoughts on the game today? You must be very disappointed having come back from 2-0 down to bring 2-2 and then last minute.
Yeah, I feel like that's in one way when we come back from 2-0 to 2-2 and try to get the 3-2, it's really tough. In one way I really feel like the players are doing everything they can to get back in the game, and I think it's a quite intense game. I don't think it's a bad game. It's actually quite a competitive game between two teams that want to find their way to win the game. We need to find ways where we can defend our box better and attack our box better. We scored 2 goals, which is good, but when we concede 3, it's tough.
What did you make of the defending today?
I think Aston Villa is really good at what they're doing in the defense today. They are pressing us really well, and then when we're going to do the same, I think they have some really strong players that beat us in some critical moments. So I think they have some quality players up there. So in one way we lose a few duels, and that's losing the game for us. In one way we are fighting as a team the whole game. So it's a mixture of good performances, but also we need to improve some of the individual stuff in it as well.
Thomas made a 50th Tottenham appearance today. What do you make of her performance today? Because the game seemed to change when you brought on Beth England.
Yeah, I think the first half we were not really getting out of their press. We were kind of trying, and when she's the 9, it's really hard for her to create chances. I think in the second half we started quite well, and when Beth came on, she must have done the defenders tired. So I think she gave Beth a good 30 minutes, but she obviously took more of the fighting than playing today.
You haven't won now in 8 games. What would your message be to the Spurs fans right now?
I mean, I feel sorry for them and for us that we don't win in games, because that's what we want to do. I hope that they see that we are trying to take steps. I think they see that we're trying to do it in a certain way. I know that you might think that we are stupid to try to do the same way, but this is our identity, this is how you're learning stuff, and this is how you're going to have good games in the end. I think you see a progress the last 3-4 games where we are better as a team, we are creating chances, we are having the possession, we are doing stuff, but no, we're losing games, and I really want to make sure the fans see that we're trying to find ways to win, and 3 more games. We need to find ways to get some good result and performance in there, and then restart, learn from this season, and make sure we are prepared for next season to win more games for them and for us.
Thank you, Robert.
I want to talk about the first half and the second half were very different, right?
Yeah.
How you must have been frustrated at half time, first of all.
I mean, frustrated. You have feelings, but you need to remove the feelings and see what's tactically is going on. One way I thought Aston Villa was pressing us really well, and then we didn't move enough to create some good spaces. So yeah, with that we needed to change that and half time, make sure we do that. But then it's also about a game is 90 minutes. It takes a while before you actually break a team down. So for me, I'm not so stressed in halftime. It was more like we need to keep going what we were supposed to do. But yeah, second half was much better, and I think we find some really good attacking patterns and some really good moments there as well. But then you lose 3-2, then you're not happy anyway. So.
Let's talk about the subs. Chris obviously said obviously everyone that Beth England did make a huge difference. But you took off Jess Naz for Roseanne. Naz has already scored. What was the reason for that sub? Was there an injury?
Yeah, she had some pain in her knees. So when I asked her, can you keep going, then she was, no, I need to come off, because she was limping a little bit. So I don't take any risk with her. So I really want to make sure she came off because of that.
Sure. And Maita Ores came off as well. I thought she built into the game as it went on. What was the reason behind that sub?
Sometimes you need players in and not depending on who's coming out. So for me, when I wanted to bring Tilly and Beth in, I need to take 2 players out, and then it was more like, should I take Drew out, should I take Ollie out? I thought Ollie was quite good in those, and she can score a lot of goals, and I think Might is a lower player, but if you bring Drew back one step, then you get the more attacking player lower. So it was more of a who's coming on and not Mighty coming off, because I think she had a good game.
Yeah, another player that had a good game. I'm becoming a bit of a fangirl of Ella Morris, who I thought, particularly in the second half, really kicked on.
Yeah, I think you can look at this season and say like Tottenham is not developing, or Tottenham is not winning games, and that's true, but I think when you look at the key players we have signed and what we want to look like, we have nailed that. We have Ella Morris, we have Olivia Holt, so I think when you look at that, you also can see the potential where we are going, and I think giving her the game time she needs now is something I invest a lot on, and I think that's going to be good for Tottenham. It's going to be good for England, because she's going to break into that national team as well.
Kept very calm for her goal, where a lot of people would have, particularly younger players, would have panicked.
Yeah, but she's a very calm person, and she's a very mature person to be so young, so I'm very impressed what she's doing, and she's just taking a step. Because,
I mean, looking down, it looked like there's a lot of, particularly in the second half, there were opportunities for Spurs to score. How frustrated are you? I know you try and keep the emotions out of it, but that there was that gap at the back, because it looked like maybe if they hadn't conceded that third goal, it might have been Spurs. I mean, Beth England was very close to heading one in right at the end.
I think the main
It
thing
easily
for
could have
us.
been 3-2 to Spurs.
Yeah. So where we are, we don't want to protect the 2 years before we came back. We wanted to go for the 3-2, and we are ready to gamble a little bit to lose it. But the main thing, I think we didn't have the best resting balance in our attack sometimes. And Dale is very strong in her duel, so when she's winning that and they have the pace on Emily, it's not the easiest to defend against. But we went for the 3-2, and that's always going to be Tottenham's motto, to go for the 3-2. But it's frustrated.
Just the last one on Lisa Cott, who started her life at Tottenham very well. Do you think she'll be annoyed at herself for a couple of the goals today?
Not annoyed, but I think she can definitely find ways how she could have a better position in that long ball, for example, or how she can do it. So she's always looking how to improve, and I think today was a little bit of the connection with the defenders and a little bit of these situations. But she's a great goalkeeper. She's doing massive stuff for us, and it's more about the relationships with the one she plays for. So she obviously gonna assess this game. We're gonna assess it, but she still takes steps with Tottenham.
Thanks so much for your time.